Nano tanks, are they worth it? Are they harder than regular aquariums? We're gonna talk about that today, and some misconceptions and some things to consider when starting a nano tank. I know a lot of people out there aren't able to keep larger aquariums just for space reasons. Is a nano tank really worth it? What is going on, everybody? So today I'm going to a customer's innovative marine nano aquarium. It's about 20 gallons, just like the one I just showed you. And I kind of want to take you through some of the ups and downs with that aquarium. And I know a lot of people out there, you want the big tank, you want the biggest tank possible. You want all the cool fish and stuff like that. But sometimes, we don't always have the space for it. So the nano aquariums is a good beginner tank. I kind of want to go over that with you guys today. Right now I'm going to pack up the truck. I got a few things that we're going to bring to the customer's house to fill out her nano aquarium. So let's take a look at what we're going to bring. So they requested 3 of these green rock flower anemones, and their son is a big fan of the Miami Heat, let's go Heat culture, and North Carolina Tar Heels basketball teams, respectively. So I don't think the Tar Heels is going to work too well because, I guess technically that could be kind of like a blue, but blue kind of washes out, especially when you run a lot of blue lights in your aquarium. So I'm thinking more of the orange and the red colors for the Miami Heat. So we're going to try to find some of that. But she definitely wanted these 3 green rock flower anemones. So we're going to bring those right now. What do you guys think of this 8-can right here? I think that's got good Miami Heat colors. It's got the red right there with the little yellow inside. This is a really good choice. I love 8-cans. They're like one of my favorite corals by far. And then I'm going to bring another 8-can. This one has red on the outside and a yellow mouth, which, again, heat colors. And, yeah, I think this will be a great addition. I'm going to bring some emerald crabs, too. Probably about 3 or 4 of these guys today. All right, so here is the Nano Aquarium, the innovative marine Nano Aquarium I was going to tell you guys about. 2 AI primes on there. And let's just take a quick look at what's in here. We got a beautiful hammer coral right there looking amazing. Another toxic splattered hammer coral. I don't know what this coral is. Good Lord, is it some type of pavona? Anyways, it's some type of encrusting coral right there. It's pretty cool. I wish it had more color. But the fact that this is doing good lets me know that we could put another type of encrusting coral in this tank, which I think would be dope. Worldwide coral bounce mushroom. How do you not love that? Another really cool mushroom right there. A bunch of rock flowers, which we're going to add some more today. Got a little zoa there. A blasto that got stung by an anemone a long time ago, still recovering. And another anemone right there. And then an anemone on top. And I'm going to add some emerald crabs in here. Now all that's in this tank are 2 clownfish and a royal grandma. That is it. Both those fish are pretty big for a 20-gallon tank. And with the royal grandma in there, the royal grandmas get pretty big too. So it's pretty big for this tank as well. But everybody's kind of chilling and doing their thing for now. One thing I want to point out with nano aquariums, it's really, like a tank like this, it's really hard to achieve. You have to be on your game with a 20-gallon tank to be able to have SPS, monopora, things like that to be able to grow in it, especially a mixed reef, child squirrels. This is not an easy thing. What makes this tank special, it has overpowered lights on it. So it has Hydra 32s, which is very powerful lights, but it doesn't just have one, it has 2 of them. The tank we saw before had AI primes, 2 of them, but less potent light. These have, as opposed to the AI primer, which just has the 1, this has a 2 on either side. The PAR is a lot stronger. So you're able to keep SPS because of that. Also, one thing you want to have on your nano aquarium that's just super important is an ATO, so an automatic top off. So because the smaller tanks evaporate water, and because it's such a small water volume, the salinity can fluctuate, and that small fluctuations from going from 35 to 37 consistently can make it very hard for you to keep some types of corals, especially SPS and more harder to keep corals. So it's very important to have an ATO, an automatic top off, that as that fresh water, as the water evaporates, that fresh water evaporates, you're able to top it back off with some good RO water. Here's a 30 gallon that Innovative Marine also makes more of a lagoon style tank, which I like. I like kind of the wideness that you have, not so much the height, but the wideness gives you some very good options as far as aquascaping. I also think Ice Cap makes some really nice nano aquariums as well. This is a 10-gallon cube. The cube style is really fun. You can get some height on your tank if you're not looking for more of a lagoon style. I personally have a 20-gallon Ice Cap nano aquarium. It's all in one, which means all the filtrations in the back of the tank. It comes with everything you need. You can see you got the pump, you got the return nozzle, you got, everything that you would need, the overflow, all that. Innovatives have the same thing. Right here, basically the water goes through here, and then you have your filtration section right here with the return pump that puts it back into there, and then you can modify this how you would need it. Just see this as a glorified hang on the back filter. Now, as far as fish, I'm a big believer in keeping fish that are appropriately sized for the tank. This small nano aquarium that we have right here, it only has sexy shrimp in it. It's got about 5 or 6 of these sexy shrimp in the tank. You can see 2 of them right there, and that's all that's in this aquarium. There used to be 2 clownfish in here, but we took them out a while ago, and they just they didn't fit this aquarium. They didn't fit the tank. And yeah, sure, you can get some fish in here. We're a quarantine shop, so we kind of stay away from keeping fish in here, so that's why we just keep inverts in here. I'd also probably stay away from doing any type of like bubble tip anemone or anything, because these guys spread like crazy. And you can do clownfish and anemones, but that's gonna be all your tank's gonna be, because these anemones will spread so quickly in that nano aquarium that you're not gonna have really room for anything else. Now, if that's what you want, clownfish and anemones, then that's your thing, and just be committed to that. If anemones, something you want to do, but you don't want something that's going to spread quickly, you have the carpet anemones, you have the rock flowers that come in all different colors, which are really nice to have. And as far as corals go, you can pretty much have any type of coral that you want in your tank. Like, you're not limited, as we saw from the tank previously, like of what kind of coral you can have in there. Just keep in mind that you're limited on real estate, so you want to make sure that you give plenty of space for each coral to be able to grow, and that you're also going to be able to work in the tank to be able to frag things in case they do get out of hand. Blood shrimp, fire shrimp, whatever you want to call them, these guys are a great addition to the tank too, just because they're a cleaner shrimp that will do a great job of keeping your tank clean, scavenging leftover and uneaten food and fish waste. But also they have great red color to them that really stand out. And with a small tank, you only have so many options. So being able to get something that really stands out and has color is a big deal. Now let's talk about some fish to put in the nano aquarium. I know a lot of people usually do the clownfish. Here's a pair of smaller clownfish. You go into a fish store and you see these 2 little guys, you're like, oh, that'd be perfect for my nano aquarium. The problem is they get pretty dang big. Like, they get pretty big, and they become, especially when they're paired up like this, pretty territorial. And in a 20-gallon tank, that means they're only going to tolerate so many other fish. Luckily, the tank that we went to today, the Royal Grandma is able to hold its own, and the clownfish are okay with it, but they also keep it into one area. They don't let it venture out too much. And that's part of the reason why we took the anemone out of that tank, because they were becoming too aggressive over it, not letting the Royal Grandma around the aquarium. But these clownfish get big and they can be aggressive, so I would definitely stay away from. I do believe clownfish need to be in a bigger tank than 20 gallons. I think 40-gallon minimum for these guys. Here's a Nano Red Sea aquarium. These things are they're pretty cool. They're well made, and they come with all the attachments, the protein skimmer and all that stuff. This one here is a bit of a mixed reef. You got star polyp on the bottom here, some rock flower anemones, which I'm a big fan of rock flower anemones in nano tanks. Cabbage coral, another great coral to have in nano aquarium. Torch corals, look, I love torch corals, but you can see how much they spread out. Probably not the best idea for a small aquarium like this, because there's just not much real estate. In this one, we did a floating scape, a bit of a floating scape right here. Have some blastos over on the side, and a hammer coral, and some snails. And this one, again, just the 2 clownfish. And this is a great fish. I highly recommend for nano aquariums. This little neon goby, that's a great fish for nano aquariums. I love them. Nice little blue streak color there. They stay relatively small. They're aquaculture too, so you don't have to get them from the wild, so they're tank ready. I would not recommend something like a 6-line wrasse. I don't know how they're getting along with the clownfish, but everybody's getting along probably because they were in it at the same time. But I think 6 lines get a little bit big, and they're pretty active swimmers, and I wouldn't recommend the 6-line wrasse for a nano aquarium. But some of the fish I would recommend for nano aquariums would be Gobies get my vote. They are appropriately sized for nano aquariums. They come in all different types of colors, shapes. They have symbiotic relationships with pistol shrimp. So you get the, you know, if you find a prawn goby, it just works out well. And just by, like, they come in every single color that you can imagine. They're not active swimmers. They're content with being in an appropriate sized aquarium. Nothing gives me more anxiety than seeing fish that are in aquariums that aren't appropriately sized. Jawfish, another great fish, I think, for a nano aquarium. If it's done right, they're not active swimmers, and they have tons of personality. If you guys want to see me go deeper in depth of nano fish, I'll do a full list of nano fish. Just put it down in the comments. I'll be happy to do that, because there's a ton of really cool fish I think are being left out. If anyone out there has a nano aquarium, would like to add something to this conversation, please put it down in the comments, because there's a lot of people out there that are wanting a saltwater aquarium and they have to start with a nano tank, and they probably could use as much advice as possible. That's kind of the reason why I'm doing this video, because I want to make sure that nobody out there is wasting money and that we set ourselves up for success. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one.